to bring another special guest on, and I have to tell you, again, when you are in the space of goodness, good things happen. And if you're in a negative space, negative things happen. And this gentleman was someone that I was led to, and I have so much respect for him. And not only is he a wealth of knowledge, which you guys will hear, but I encourage you to take notes because he comes at you. And I've been talking about this product, NuCalm, and again, without overhyping it, guys, because there's just a lot of stuff that I get excited about. This product has been a game changer for me for the last almost 3 months now. I've been doing it every day, every night for 3 months. Everything has shifted for me, like blockages, creativity, like coming through the roof. The things I'm creating behind the scenes that you guys will soon see is all because of something has been lifted. And it's because my brain is now functioning the way it should be. I'm sleeping better than I've ever slept. I have more energy. I take timeouts and love on myself, and I use the product during the day. But I want to bring on the CEO and founder of NuCalm. This is such a treat, you guys. My buddy, Mr. Jim Poole, who is one of the busiest guys that I know, but he's always ready. And I know because he's a product of this amazing product. So, Jim, I want to have you come on, say hi. And they're tired of hearing about this product for me, because I'm all about you just got to do it. I knew you were going to say the same thing, but why is this product so different? And how can we share this without selling, but how can we share this in a world that's convoluted with apps and YouTube videos and stuff? How can we make sure that people understand this thing is standalone, the best product for humanity to get an upgrade? Hi, Jim.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. All right. So happy President's Day Monday. Woo woo. We've got Coral, we got Nancy, we got Melissa, we got Chris, we got Yaz, we got Amy. We've got Shelly and Jenna. Dr. Shelly. We have iPhone 717 and Maria. Hang on, wait. We got some other people too. We've got Keisha. Everybody, it's a pleasure to be here. So let's start with a little reality. I think it would not be overextension to say the human race is kind of in a crisis right now. In fact, when I lecture, I typically say, and it's kind of a little tongue twister, the human race appears to be in a race to erase the human race. It kind of sucks, but I would challenge anybody to tell me that that's wrong. A lot of reasons for it: environmental toxins, geopolitics, media, fear-mongering, metabolic acidosis from our food supply, stress, you name it, we got it. And 35 years ago, a brilliant neuroscientist, quantum physicist, just a genius amongst geniuses, went on a quest to find a natural method to allow humans the capability to downregulate their stress without drugs. So if we go back to the dawn of humankind, knuckle-dragging cave walkers, since the dawn of humankind, we humans, for all of our amazing complexity in our brain, we're rather pedantic in how we take care of our brain wave and state. What does that mean? That means when we're low on energy, we'll lean on Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, espresso, Red Bull, Monster Energy, you name it. In psychic pain, many people have a glass of wine, a shot of whiskey. Some people engage in recreational drugs to get out of psychic pain. Anti-anxiety, antidepressants, sleeping pills. You're starting to get the idea. We humans often rely on external stimulation to regulate up or down the frequency of our brain. We're not even aware that we do this. It's just commonplace that we live like this. And it is also exercise, and it's oxytocin, and it's hugs, and it's intimacy. Everything we do is changing our state. Well, we all operate in the same frequency range. Did you know that? Every single human on Earth oscillates in a frequency range of 41 hertz, and there's 5 categories. Delta, theta, and alpha are slower waveforms, and those are in sleep. Beta and gamma are faster acting frequencies, and it's all related to frequency, state of mind, frequency, breath. So as humans, there's a lot we don't know about our brain, and there's a lot we're not told about our brain, which is really quite bizarre to me, because it's our operating system. It's how we're going to make our way through this life. Shouldn't we know about it? So two quick aspects here. Number one, we have an amygdala and a primordial midbrain. The circuitry of this amygdala is incredible. Millions of years of neuronal circuitry built the reptile part of our brain. And this amygdala is kind of the epicenter of our autonomic nervous system. Our autonomic nervous system, if you remember back from 10th grade biology, governs a lot of our autonomic activities. Our heart rate, our breath, our respiration, our digestion. But it also governs fight, flight, or freeze, our ability to stay alive when we're in mortal danger or we just fear that we're in danger. And kind of our psychic energy, depression, fear, stress, worry, agitation, impatience, etc. So this part of our brain is managed by the amygdala here. It's an almond-shaped piece in our midbrain. The other aspect of our brain that's really important is our forehead, our prefrontal and frontal cortex. Now, this part of our brain separates us from primates, and it's about 4 million years of neuronal circuitry in evolutionary neuropsychobiology. All right? So in this part of our brain is our patience, our presence, okay? Our executive functioning, our logic, our decision-making, our ability to communicate, and our emotional regulation. This is who we are. This is the fear center. And here's the challenge. The currency of the human brain is not time, it's not money, it's not attention. The currency of the human brain is oxygen. And one of the challenges we have as humans is that the amygdala in the reptile part of our brain has a stronger architecture, has a greater history, and has a more sophisticated approach of how it manages or steals resources from our forehead. So you'll know that when you are in a stressed response, your frequency is faster, your breath is shallow. You're not responsive to stress, you're reactive. You're easily triggered, you're impatient, you're agitated, you're overwhelmed, you're distracted because you're not getting oxygen here. So the challenge in where 3,500 years ago in Asia, they started figuring out meditation is to redistribute oxygen-rich red blood from the amygdala to here. So that's why we do mindfulness practices. The physiological benefits of yoga, Tai Chi, Wim Hof breathing, or meditation is to distribute oxygen-rich red blood to your frontal and prefrontal cortex. And when it is there, we have the capability of being responsive. It doesn't change the stress that comes at us. It changes how we interpret that stress and respond to it as opposed to react. So there are two ways to manage the human brain that don't involve drugs and alcohol and caffeine. And those two ways are visual stimulation, called frequency following response. So you're following a frequency to elicit a response. Now, about 35% of the human population can avoid this management, probably because their amygdala and their locus of control is too powerful. We can't override that. The other way to trick the human brain is through the auditory motor cortex. So you can present the brain with a signal through your ears that your brain synchronizes to, and we can either, like a thermostat, old school thermostat, we can either slow down your frequency or increase it. And that's what we do. So we are a neuroscience company. We've been around for 35 years. When I say neuroscience company, I mean it. We've gone through the FDA. We were an FDA Class 3 highly regulated medical device. We went through Health Canada. We went through military approval. We went through NSF certified for sport. We have 52 of the world's leading academicians, scientists, and doctors on our medical advisory board. We have clinical studies. We have peer-reviewed journal articles. We also have 2 patents. One was done after 5 years of research at NASA and Harvard, studying stage 4 cancer versus the Chicago Blackhawks. And interestingly enough, you learn the most from the extremes. The NuCalm system had the same physiological impact on stage 4 metastatic cancer as it did a professional athlete. So it doesn't matter who you are. This is simply math and physics. What we've done is we've created a software. This software is over 1 gigabyte of information, and it's complex. There's a nonlinear oscillating algorithm. There's a pitch and frequency mathematical matrix. There's a lot of stuff in here because we're not only going to trick your brain, we're also going to manage the reticular activating system of your mind. We put music over this so that we create a nice experience for you, okay? And here's what's cool. Once you put headphones on and you press start, We take you somewhere. And the mobile app is how we deliver this. So 4 years ago, we successfully transitioned from a complicated four-component, $6,000 FDA Class C medical device to a mobile app. We went from one product called Rescue to 6 products. We spent 32 years inventing, refining, clinically validating, proving, and using this method to elicit a state change by regulating your frequency. So we currently have 6 products on one mobile app. It's an embarrassment of riches. The 5 categories of your brain. Delta, we have a product called Deep Sleep. With a speaker in your bedroom, we put you to sleep and we keep you asleep. Then we have Rescue and Power Nap that take your brain to 4 hertz, the deepest form of theta, which allows for vagal tonality. It allows for parasympathetic nervous system dominance and allows for you to restore on a cellular level. This is the restorative aspect of sleep, and it's also commensurate with meditating monks can bring their brain wave function to theta. And that's really been our key therapy. Then we have one called Flow State, which takes you to 7.83 hertz, which happens to be the Schumann resonance of the Earth's magnetic rotation, and it's also the frequency of the human body cavity. This is the intersection of alpha and theta and is synonymous with creativity. Then we get into the faster acting frequencies. 18.4 hertz is the learning zone. We're not even taught this. So think back in your life how many hours you wasted trying to learn something when your frequency was too fast. You were anxious, you were stressed, you were worried, you were distracted, you were overwhelmed, or your frequency was too slow and you were tired and mentally lethargic. Wasted energy because you're not learning when your frequency is not in this state. 15 to 20 hertz is the learning zone. And in that state, you're distraction free. You can encode new information, consolidate it to memory, and you actually learn. So there's a product called Focus. You put headphones on, press start. We take it 18.4 hertz. And within about 2 minutes, you're intentionally in one single thought pattern. It's amazing. And then we have something called Ignite. Ignite is for anyone who wants to work out, anyone's going on stage or just needs to amplify to get to a state of absolute certainty where your physical, emotional, and spiritual energy is on point. I mean, you're not going to make a mistake. That's called Ignite. And interestingly enough, in 2016, we began working with Ignite. It's 41 hertz frequency, which is the fastest brainwave frequency. High intensity, mistake-free focus. And from 2016 to 2021, we had 998 Special Forces operators, professional athletes signed an NDA, and they had confidential access to this product. No public use of this product for more than 5 years. In 2017, Tony Robbins and I trained the Washington Capitals together. We took that training, put it onto our physics, and put that in the app. It's in the app in the Ignite product. And then the next year we had so much fun, we trained the Golden State Warriors in a hotel for 5 hours and built another track. So on the app, you'll see 4 collaborations with Tony Robbins. So if you like Tony, it's right there. You see gratitude, certainty, priming with TR, and priming plus with TR. So there's a lot of cool things we can do. And here's the coolest piece. We're all human. We think this fallacy that we're unique, our problems are unique, how we live is unique, and it couldn't be further from the truth. The only thing that's unique when it comes to stress is your stressors. Your family, your epigenetics, the things around you that create stress for you are unique to you. But the physiology of the stress response, the central nervous system pinging the amygdala activating the HPA axis, cortisol, catecholamines flooding your body, your blood supply going from your extremities to your visceral organs, your heart rate going faster, your breath getting shallow. It's identical for every human being on this earth. Our brains are made of the same parts. We all have an amygdala. We all have a prefrontal and frontal cortex. We all have an HPA axis. And we don't know this. And a lot of times we struggle or we feel isolated or feel like, wow, this is really bad. Well, as we get older and we get wiser, we know life is cyclical. We know everything kind of vibrates. We know we're never the same at any moment in time. But we also know we're never as good as we think we are and we're never as bad as we think we are. So this is a technology that is profound. We've done amazing things for people for 16 years. For 13 of them, we were exclusive to the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, the Border Patrol. pilots, 78 professional sports teams, doctors, cancer patients. Some of the best work we do is with stage 4 cancer. And if you want to know just how powerful physics can be, this is a mind bender. I know it's 9:36 on a random Monday in February, but we've done over 2,600,000 surgical procedures replacing general anesthesia with people in a hospital room, cold, in an operatory, being cut open, listening to rescue with headphones, wearing an eye mask. That's where we started. That's where all the science was proven. That's where all our patent work happened. We took that methodology and said, shit, if we can take anybody to 4 hertz and hold them there, doesn't matter who you are, then wow, we could probably take you to sleep. We could probably take you to 7.83 hertz. We can probably take you to 18.4 hertz. We can probably take you to 41 hertz. So from 2016 to present, all that work happened. 32 years of scientific discovery. We mapped the entirety of your brainwave function. We built 6 products to help you regulate. So think about this. You could literally today, if you wanted, get the NuCalm mobile app and a headphone and an eye mask. And then on the other side of the table, your kitchen table, put your caffeine, your Red Bull, your energy drinks, your alcohol, your recreational drugs, your pharmaceuticals, your antidepressants, your anti-anxiety, and your sleeping pills, and you can throw them in the trash because you don't need them anymore. Simply with physics, using your ears and your auditory motor cortex, we can regulate your brainwave function up or down. And we do it with a specificity, a reliability, and a safety that's never been done before. You don't get awarded patents like balancing the health of the human autonomic nervous system, which was issued to us in 2015, or the patent for a method used to elicit a state change in the human brain without tremendous, irrefutable quantified evidence that showcases never before this ever existed on Earth, and the data proves what we stated to be true. So what we have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is novel, it's cool, but it's also proven incredible. You don't work with the Department of Defense, Navy SEALs, Special Forces operations for 13 years if it hasn't been vetted, tested ad nauseum. And the military uses for expedited recovery without drugs to put that operator into a state of absolute certainty and the ability to operate in a nanosecond when life and death may mean something. And they do it with ease, despite acclimation, despite malnourishment, despite sleep, fatigue. What doesn't matter. They simply just put NuCalm on for 20 minutes, boom, they're ready to go, and they go do their job. So we have taken this product to a mobile app, to a monthly subscription, and now you have access to what used to be exclusively available to a select few people in the world, and it's easy. That's what I like most about it. I can talk to you guys all day about applied neuropsychobiology. I've done about 500 CME lectures. It's fun, it's intriguing, it's the brain. You'll never get bored with it. But in reality, it has to be easy if humans are going to adopt anything. So the beauty of what we've done is less on the brilliance of the neuroscience and more on the brilliance of the social psychology. We brought to you patented, clinically proven neuroscience into the form of a mobile app. Not because we're an app company, because we're not, but to make this easy so that we can adopt this and be better humans. So there you go, Tony.
I'm smiling because I know the amount of work that has gone into this, the amount of research, the amount of that, and you can't deny the science and everything you're saying. I've been trying to articulate to people my whole life, like, how to manage, this crazy thing called this brain. And you've got this packaged up so nicely. And you said it, you don't have to think about this. I think people try to overthink it. They try to troubleshoot things. Am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? Should I listen for 5 minutes? Should I listen for 20? Can you help us? Because what I've noticed with me is my consistency, Jim, has put me in another space with regards to the amount, like the focus I'm able to get done. Like when I sit down on my computer and I put on focus and I just put like 120 minutes on, like I know exactly what you're talking about, this flow state that I feel. And I finish my project and I'm like, where the heck did that all come from? Like I've never had that ability to do that. I always get sidetracked and distracted now. So is there anything with regards to the the consistency of the product, right? Oh, I just do it on Tuesdays, or I do it on, like, is there study that you've seen that say, hey, when people do it daily, your brain gets up leveled, or it gets an upgrade, or it gets smarter? Like, I don't know. Is it possible?
It's quite intuitive. So stress is going to come at us every day, right?
Yeah.
If you put your calendar, March 7th to March 14th, it doesn't say stress is taking a vacation to Spain, does it?
No.
No, because it's coming at us every day. And, we're firing on, there's so many things against us, the environmental toxins, the 5G, the food, everything is really against our ability to regulate our brainwave function. That's all it's about. When we're in a stressed state, if someone says, hey, Tony, you having a bad day? You don't say, you're right, I need to breathe and count to 10, four in my nostril, hold for 2, and exhale for 4. No, you say, I'm going to kill you. It's all related. Listen, it's all related. So physically, just think about this. When you're in a stressed response, an agitated response, an impatient response, you're having a shitty day, your frequency is going too fast. That's all that's happening, ladies and gentlemen. But to get your frequency to stop, the amygdala is really, really good at doing its job. It loves to work. One of the ironies of our brain physiology is that little almond, this little son of a bitch, is a workaholic. It loves to work. So you'll know. Say you start your day and you're having a bad day and you're worried about something, and you cycle through and you actually solve that worry. Well, lo and behold, your amygdala has something for you to worry about again. So it just cycles through that. That's its food supply, is worry. And we all know that if you have anxiety or you're prone to anxiety, it doesn't matter what you say, you can't talk yourself out of it, because there's no oxygen here to your prefrontal cortex, which allows you for rational thought. So on a daily basis, if you were to use rescue, which is the main therapy, we recommend that for cancer patients, neurodegenerative disease, complex trauma, addiction, high performing athletes, pilots. It doesn't matter who you are. You'll see our recipe always starts foundation with managing stress. The more that you do this, the cumulative benefit is incredible. It's like building your resilience tank. You can actually add to your piggy bank. So the more that you do rescue, the more you're going to notice you're not easily sabotaged. The things that normally would agitate you don't. The things that normally would trigger you don't. You see something, you're like, wow, this normally would piss me off. It doesn't. Why? Because you are distributing oxygen-rich red blood here. So when you do rescue during the day, Tony, I use it every day. I use it as a performance tool. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm 56 years old. I run a global neuroscience company. I travel about 300 days a year. I've got 3 daughters, been with my wife for 32 years. I have a lot of reasons to be stressed. I'm not using it for longevity. I'm not using it for my own personal health. I'm using it to perform better. So every day I kind of get to have 2 days in one. I get up around 5 o'clock. I'm a morning person. I do 10 or 15 Zooms. I got international business, whatever. Around 3 or 4, when I have that natural dull, my energy kind of stops, and I'm like, shit, I don't want to be on the next couple calls. I always have 30 minutes there. I go in my bed, headphone on, eye mask, press start on a rescue track. I bake. Most of the time I fall asleep. I'm not supposed to fall asleep, but I do. And then when I get up, I'm like, wow, I feel amazing. Any little thing that was agitating me is gone. I don't remember what it was. And I just feel on point. I feel present, and I feel capable of people know presence. When you speak to me, Tony, we've spoken a lot. There's no other thought in my head. I don't, what I used to call the itty bitty shitty committee, that committee behind everybody's eyes that has like 5 conversations going on all the time.
Yep.
I don't have that. So the more that you do rescue, the more present in the moment without judgment you'll become. When we become present in the moment without judgment, it does 2 things that are really important. 1, it stops our expectation. Expectation creates a lot of pressure. Pressure creates more expectation. More expectation creates a behavioral change in you. Because there's a fallacy where you thought you could control the outcome of a business meeting, a board meeting, and then when things start not going your way, you can actually feel your heart rate go up and your breath gets shallow and you start to get agitated and your face might get red and you're like, ugh. Well, how the hell does everybody else know what your expectation was? They don't. So when you're present in the moment without judgment, I told you this, Tony.
Yep.
I prepare for nothing. I show up for everything. It allows me to live present. I can be a participant in my life, not a spectator. I don't think about the future, and I don't ruminate on the past. The only time I do that is when I have annual stockholder meetings or board meetings where I'm forced to kind of look at the last quarter. So every day you want to do rescue, and then you add deep sleep to the recipe. Sleep is profoundly plaguing all of humanity. We don't know enough about sleep to know that the cause and effect is stress management. If you're not sleeping well, unless you have obstructive sleep apnea and there's an airway obstruction, which is physiological, stress is the reason you're not sleeping well. So we have solved sleep, but it's not direct. We've solved sleep by solving your stress. So if you do rescue during the day, give yourself 20 minutes. I know you have 1/72nd of the day to give to yourself. Even if you say, hey, this is so that I can perform better. And then at night with a speaker in your bedroom, it took us 9 years to invent deep sleep because we didn't want you to have to wear a headphone. Speaker in your bedroom, you press play on deep sleep. That combination will do several things. One, it'll lower your inflammation or lactic acid. Two, it'll increase your resilience. And three, it'll just make you a better human being. When we're not impatient, agitated, easily irritable, and all those things that we don't like being, life is better. Our partners know it, our kids know it, our parents know it, our employees know it, our employers know it. Everybody can feel that energy. And we know this. Like you said, everything's energy. You resonate off energy, you resonate off voice, you resonate off people looking at you, entering a room. So those are the core elements. On the ass-kicking, motivation, entrepreneurial spirit, go get them every day you're climbing that mountain, focus and ignite are tools that are just exceptional. Yeah. And you don't work with the caliber of humans that we work with if the product doesn't work. You don't work with the best athletes in the world. What do you think they're listening to with headphones on when they're walking into the arena? They're not listening to rap and Celine Dion. They're listening to Ignite. We've built it for them, and we've been serving them for like 9 years with the product. In fact, Tony knows this, but you guys, I'll tease you. Last month, we launched a specific confidential product only for the FBI hostage rescue team.
Oh, geez.
The hostage rescue team is the elite extraction force in the world. There's 56 operators, mobility and tactical. So it's complex conflict resolution, extraction of hostages, or assassination of perpetrators. So on the bottom of my app, and 56 operators from the United States FBI Quantico, they have this confidential track, the elite operator. You click on it, it tells you what you shouldn't do and should do. Then they have 3 tracks, Viking, Warrior, and Absolute Certainty. So en route to extract a hostage in their comms, in their in-ear buds, they're listening to that to get to a level where when you're in a high stress situation like that, if you're insecure, confused, your decision-making isn't clear, concise, and fast, you're dead. So that's how cool the activity part of this is. So I know you're turned on by Ignite and Focus, and you should be, because when you elevate your brainwave frequency in that state, Focus cleans out distraction. Ignite obliterates distraction.
Yeah.
And the fact is, the human brain can get into a state of learning between 15 and 20 hertz. It's called the Pomodoro technique, but it can only stay in that state for about 20 minutes at a time before it starts thinking about stuff because the amygdala gets bored. It's like, wait a second, Tony, what about this you didn't do? And what about dinner? And what about taking out the trash? What? I don't want to think about that stuff. So when you put focus on, it doesn't allow for distraction. In fact, you'll also notice it actually makes you feel good. It's like a mood enhancer. There's no room for the gibberish. The squirrel, exactly. There's no room for squirrel.
Yeah.
Focus, there's no room for squirrel. So it does sound too good to be true. Trust me. My background was in private equity Wall Street banking. I ran 49 companies for Wall Street banks. In God we trust, everybody else bring data. So when I first heard about this, I was like, this scientist either on crystal meth or he just landed from Star Trek. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't believe anything I'm hearing until I flew down to Texas and tried it. And then we whiteboarded the science. And then I met with scientists from Harvard and NASA and all the stuff we did. And I said, okay, this seems unbelievable to me. But the reality is it's even better than it sounds. So I appreciate Tony bringing the opportunity here for me to provide some high level education. As you will see on the site, on the Shopley site, There's a lot of video assets, there's a lot of training, but essentially what I've learned over 16 years of helping humanity really doesn't matter how it works. You can learn that afterwards. This is an experience. And the beauty of the strength of the product It has a specificity and reliability that I've never seen before. It literally just takes you there. It's math and physics. I did an interview recently and said, wow, that sounds like voodoo. I laughed because it couldn't be further from the truth. This is fundamental math and physics. That's all this is. This is fundamental science. Because it sounds too good to be true doesn't mean it's not. And what's kind of ironic is we use sound to deliver science. So
yeah, I love it. Anybody have any questions? I know, Amy, you got your hand up. Does anybody else have any questions? Just raise a question.
Yeah, does it work for weight loss?
absolutely it does. In 2013, we did some work down at University of Alabama, Birmingham. And it has, I think, the second highest obesity rate, second to Mississippi in America. So it's really simple, Amy. When we're stressed out, our brain secretes ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hormone that tells us to feed me. But I just ate. I don't give a shit. Feed me now. Okay? When you are satisfied and when you are not stressed, your brain secretes leptin. That means I'm sated. That means I don't want to go get the Ben and Jerry's or whatever. So we know this. Intuitively think about when you travel and you're under stress. We make poor food choices. When we're stressed, we don't sleep well. Our metabolic processes slow down. As we age, right? I can look at a stick of butter and gain 5 pounds. I'm like, wait a second, I didn't eat it. So there's a lot of things against us as we age. But stress is kind of the nefarious evil of all things that are challenging for us. First of all, it creates 95% of all disease. Secondly, it has issues with our interpersonal conflict, with our ability to feel good about ourselves, our self-confidence, or clarity. But the weight loss, it's a no-brainer. You handle stress, you handle the decisions you make. You handle the craving. You handle stress, you handle complex trauma. You handle stress, you handle the craving, the dopamine imbalance that's regulated for addiction. Everything's stress modulated, folks. That's why when you go to a monastery, you don't see monks beating the shit out of each other. They're not fighting. They're not yelling. No. They're in a state of present in the moment without judgment. So if we can manage our stress, the human species has a chance to succeed. We don't manage our stress. We're seeing what it's like. We're all emotionally sabotaged. We're all holding on by a thread. And 4 years post-COVID, our central nervous systems are exhausted because of all the changes we had to go through, all the resilience that was put upon us, all the adaptive behavioral changes we had to make. We're all exhausted, and we know it, and we feel it, and we see it. We don't really understand it, but we know something's not right.